With this, we move on to our next education leader in the Indian space. We would be hearing Mr. Sahil Aggarwal, co-founder and CEO, Rishihood University. Thank you
Hi,
very much,
Sahil.
Mr. Sahil. Glad to connect with you and see you once again.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sudhir. Pleasure to be here.
We would like to hear from you the keynote, the modernizing to a digital first institution. Just to take you, we had an amazing opening ceremony this morning with a representation from the state of Telangana, UP, and Government of India, AICTE. Now we would like to hear you. Over to you.
Okay. Thank you so much. So I'm not an education leader. I'm an education learner. So what I'm going to say here are some thoughts that I have been reflecting on and learning about over the last few years of my journey as a social entrepreneur. So I come from a technology background. I studied engineering at IIT Delhi. So I'm interested in this topic that you've given to me of modernizing into a digital first institution. So when we look at being a digital first institution, we are trying to achieve something. We are trying to become something that we are not. That is why we are saying we are modernizing into a digital first institution. And we are also putting a priority on being digital over whatever we have been doing over the last so many decades as the education system. So why is there this desire in us to think about modernizing into a digital first institution? I think we should identify what is the deeper question we are trying to answer by becoming digital first. We are confronted with new technology and we are wanting to be that change. And we have realized that the traditional straightforward education system is not producing the results in the lives of people that it should have. Why? Because technology has changed and its pace of change has also changed. So it's changing at a much faster rate than ever before. And in that change, probably education, especially the formal education system, has not been able to cope with. And that is the reason why so many edtech startups have come up. Now, in this entire tech change space, how do we assess the relevance of a technological change that is happening and its adaptation to our educational setup? I think that's the question that we all have to reflect on before deciding that we have to modernize into a digital first institution. Now, why do I say that? This digital technology is a result of, let's say, last 15 years or 20 years, but it's not that this is the only technology that has changed the way we learn. So if we look at institutions, every technology has in some form or the other changed the way the human society operated, and of course the way educational system operated. I look at from very old days, paper was a technology, and as an educational system, or just as probably those times there was no formal institution, but just as a teaching learning process or a knowledge transfer process, someone adopted the use of paper because one could document knowledge. Then probably came electricity, then probably came internet, and then came probably then came computer, and then came internet, and now we are seeing an era of internet which is so pervasive that it has entered all walks of life, and it is causing a real challenge in it is posing a real challenge in front of the educational institutions. So what I want all of us to reflect on is that it is not necessarily being digital first that is the desire here. What we are looking for is, can we become more adaptive? Because these things will keep coming, something new will come, and being digital first that time may not be the best thing to be. So the deeper capacity that we have to build here is being dynamic and being adaptive rather than being digital first. I'll share an example. So there is research going on putting a chip in the brain augmentation. so that using that chip, brain's power can be enhanced, and the brain can start interacting with machines, with computers, through simple transfer of some waves. Elon Musk is working on this Neuralink thing. Probably in the next few years, maybe in the next 5 years, maybe in the next 10 years, this may become a reality. So when that happens, the way education is delivered might be very different, right? As a mechanical engineer student, I actually don't have to go to a lab and operate a machine. I could be able to give signals, sitting at my home and see the results of what is happening. So adapting to something like that, and even before adapting, reflecting whether this is the right thing to do, I think that's the capacity I would like to build in the education system. So I really want all of us to take a step back in this race towards being very technologically advanced. I want us to step back and see whether the direction in which we are going as a technologically advanced institution, is that really meant for us? Is it helping us solve our purpose of education? Let's look at the examples from some other sectors. So let's say if because of technology we start thinking of becoming a digital first hospital. If a hospital says I'll become a digital first hospital, all my patients will be first treated digitally, and then if we need, then we'll invite them to the hospital. Probably it won't be the best option for all of us. If restaurants start saying that we are digital first restaurant, you want to order something, we'll send you the recipe, we'll probably also provide you some ingredients and you can cook it at home, and we are digital first restaurant. Probably it's not the same thing that we are looking for when we go to a restaurant. Similarly, anything digital first event, digital first wedding. So we should not just take technology for the sake of it. We should really check what is the benefit that we are getting and how is this technology helping us achieve our purpose. Because technology is a means, it's not an end in itself. If we make it the end, the issue that we face is technology will change. And when technology changes, our end changes. And then we will be discussing this thing again, that now we are XYZ first institution, because that time being digital first will not make too much sense. So that is what I that's one major thing that I want all of us to reflect on. Now the second thing is another example. Now let's say so much of automation is happening, and because of automation there is a growing discussion that machines will be doing a lot of work, so human beings will not have too much work to do. But on the other hand, because machines are doing something, so economy will be working. As it's not that the economy collapses, and because of that there will be enough money with the government to give a universal basic income, that we decide that this basic uh, 10,000 rupees a month we'll be able to give to all Indians, irrespective of whether they work or not, because on their behalf some machine is working and earning. If that happens, would we really need an education at a mass scale, or what kind of education we need that will suddenly change? Because we don't need education to prepare humans who will be competing with those machines. We probably will need an education which creates something else, which we use to enjoy our life, which we use for our spiritual upliftment, which we use for our creative imagination, innovation, entrepreneurship, all these things. So the purpose of an institution should become paramount in deciding whether we want to become a digital first institution or not. So at Rishihood University, we definitely do not want to become digital first. Now, when I say that, it's not that we are not digital or we're not technologically savvy in our approach. We are absolutely tech friendly and very technologically advanced and savvy university. But being tech first or digital first is not our mission. Our mission is something else. So similarly, there would be as each individual institution, we should think that what is our main objective of delivering education, and is being digital first helping us achieve that objective. For in our case, So we are a social impact university. What we really have to do is we have to really inspire the consciousness of our student. We have to touch the student at a deeper level to start creating a social impact. And how do they do it? By utilizing their professional knowledge or their academic knowledge that they gain through the programs towards a social requirement, towards problem solving, towards innovation. And we don't feel that that happens by becoming a digital first institution. If I have to really identify what is the first priority of us, we would like to become a learning first institution. So the primary objective for us is to become a learning institution, so that there is a culture of learning. And it also feeds into the thing that I was saying in the beginning, that if we are more dynamic and adaptive, then automatically we will start using technology in the best form that suits us. So rather than becoming digital first as an institution, I would like us to become a learning first institution. Having said that, I have nothing against technology. I am an investor in an edtech startup. My wife works in the edtech domain, so I totally am very positive about the way edtech has enabled the scope of learning. It has really taken to a much larger scale. But that does not mean that every institution should become that, because if we try to do that, we will neither succeed in what we are doing currently, nor we will succeed in what we are set out to. So those would be my thoughts on modernizing into a
Absolute. Wonderful knowing your thoughts, Mr. Sahil. As you said, it shouldn't be the digital first institution, but the learning first institution. We completely agree to that. And touching the consciousness of the students in order to adapt the pedagogy and also the innovation, the culture to be developed. We need to be learning, have a learning approach first. Of course, the technology and the learning aspect go hand in hand. The technology is a tool that needs to be used so that we move forward. It's wonderful hearing you. Uh, with this, we would like to present you a certificate of appreciation of India Digital Empowerment Meet, being presented to Mr. Sahil Aggarwal, co-founder and CEO, Rishihood University, for dedicated efforts and exemplary work in education. Thank
Thank
you
you
very
so
much,
much.
Sahil, for joining us.
Thank you. Bye.